Within our most recent total audience report that we're releasing, we focused this edition on working from home, as well as another behavior streaming. That was something that came out of this COVID world that we're living in. And we did a survey of 1,000 people that are working from home. And we wanted to get an idea of how many of them traditionally work from home versus how many of them are, I guess we'll call them COVID work from homers. So something that we're forced into um, as the nation pretty much shut down and people went remotely. And a lot of interesting figures came out of it. I won't go through all the numbers. It'll be like reading a telephone book. But some of the key things that popped out is that out of those 1,000 people that we surveyed, about 2/3 were new to working from home. So you have a group of people that are working from home that already had established behaviors that are now were uprooted pretty much and thrown into an environment that they're not quite used to. And what we're able to do is kind of ask questions and look at behaviors based on those that traditionally work from home versus those that were COVID work from home. I mean, overall, as expected, there's people who embracing it. They think that it provides them the freedom and flexibility to do things that they weren't able to do. It gives them the flexibility to improve their work-life balance. Some people love getting rid of their commute. I know, speaking for myself, an hour and a half each way kind of takes a lot out of you, and you get some of that time back. So it really was a lifestyle change for a lot of people. Working from home didn't necessarily work for everyone. There are just some jobs, some type of work that you need that group setting, you need to be in person. But overall, I think that what we saw was that perceived productivity levels among those that were traditionally working from home remained high. Those that were new to working from home, those were relatively high as well, not as high as those that already had those established behaviors. But what was also neat to see is that as people did start working from home, they were able to change their lifestyles a little bit. You didn't have a commute in the morning, so you were able to sleep a little later. You didn't have to get up early, so you're able to stay up a little later, right? So, I mean, just for that alone, we'll see a share shift in how media is being used and where marketers or advertisers, programmers can try to reach them, whether they're doing more in the morning or late morning or during the day or even late into the evening. So definitely some behavioral shifts there as well.
Speaking of media consumption, big change in the way television is consumed, the importance of news and live TV. Let's talk a little bit about local news and consumption of news as a driver of live TV with sports gone, and then let's definitely talk about streaming and how that's developing.
Sure. I'll touch on that with just a little bit more about the work from home media use, because that was something that was big that came out of it. So we were able to look at a custom survey and fuse it with our Fusion data to get actual behavioral usage of people using TV and digital among those work from homers. And what we saw there was that among those that work from home, whether it be traditional work from homers or those due to COVID, they definitely spent more of their time compared to the average adult with digital. Those that were traditional already had their established behaviors, so they did more with live and traditional TV, so they're live in time shifting. Where the COVID work from homers were more digital, about 57% of their TV and digital time was digital, and less live TV, but more of the TV connected device use. So it was interesting to see how those established behaviors people had shifted as they started working from home and how those behaviors changing. When we asked them in the survey what they typically do when they are working from home, what media that they consume, news was one of those top genres that they chose from. So people are staying engaged with news, and that's something that we saw from the beginning of COVID back in mid-March. As we went through April and May, we saw a shift of media habits just because there was no live sports, that a lot of the time spent maybe that would have went to sports went to news, between keeping up on the virus and a lot of other topics with the news across our social unrest, as well as our upcoming political time. News is something that was on top of mind for a lot of people, work from home or not, across all consumers. across TV, digital, and across radio as well. We saw shares like of overall viewing go up, and right now, as of most recent weeks, it's equal shares to pre-COVID times, as well as higher news consumption compared to a year prior. Local news was something that popped within our survey, because as more people are able to work from home, more people are able to move to and work remotely from other areas. And that was like another big takeaway that we saw, is that as people were exposed to this work from home living and how it gave them more choice, because it's all about consumer choice. I mean, they have choice of everything right now, between what to watch, what to buy. Now they want choice of their work style, their lifestyle due to work. So we're seeing that as well. And as people are uprooting themselves maybe from city areas and moving out more to the suburbs, if their job allows, we're seeing more interest there also within local news viewing, as well as also reinvesting some of their income into real estate, perhaps restaurants, automotive, and any of the local businesses.